Dr. Kia Preach, shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
Hello, soul family. Come on in. Just waiting for more people to come on in. I see you all tuning in from all over the world. All right, just give me one more minute.
Dr. Kia Preach, shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching influence and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
All right, Soul Tribe. Woo! Welcome, everybody. How are you? It's so good to see everybody. I was reading through the comments and I agree with you all. It's going to be a happy, prosperous new year. Family, we made it. Oh my gosh, what a year. But honestly, it seemed like it went by so quickly to me. Let me all know, let us all know, let us all know, how was 2025 for you all? You know, towards the end of every year, I write down all of my accomplishments that I made or I accomplished through that year. And I will highlight some of the things that I wish I would have done that I didn't do that I'm going to do at the beginning of the next year. So in the chat, family, let us know some of your New Year's resolutions. I know some people don't believe in New Year's resolutions, and I'm okay with that. But some of us like to write down plans for the New Year's, right? Thank you so much. Somebody said I look very beautiful. I appreciate that. And I also desire to tell you all, thank you so much for all of you that said that being a part of the Soul Tribe helped you to make it through the year. That's our purpose, right? To be here to help raise the vibrations of the planet. So I just thought I would come in today and recap what happened in 2025. So much happened so quickly that I had to actually go back and look at some of the things that happened in 2025. So let me see what you all think about what happened in 2025. It was a year full of challenges. There were some triumphs, some victories, some things that didn't go so well. But we made it through. You made it. We survived, right? All the things that could have happened to make it worse, they were abated or they weren't allowed to happen. And then some of the things that we did go through, some of the challenges, hopefully we learned lessons from them and it made us a better person. So, oh my gosh, I see. Who was this? Sister Melissa said, lost everything, found myself the best thing that ever happened to me. Wow. Interesting. But there was a major awakening for sure, Glock says. Yes. How long for this RV abundance? I know, right? Glock said, we're weary. Thank you. Thank you for saying that I look stunning, Anna. Anna said I look stunningly beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, family, thank you all for being here. We have almost 200 people in the chat. Please hit the like button as you come in and say hello to the Soul Tribe. Let us know where you're hailing from. Scott says to recap. What'd you say, Scott? You want to recap? Scott, I have to go back and see. The recap year of 2025, that should be a 5-minute video. Not a DAMN thing happened worth caring about. That was a great year of Jubilee. I thought Jubilee were different though. Oh, Scott, I'm so sorry that you saw 2025 is not nothing happened, not a darn thing happened. I saw a lot happen. Sometimes it has to do with where you're living, your perspective, how you view the world. I actually saw a lot go on. I'll recap, okay? Let me know some of the things that were good in your life, okay? Write it down, some good things, some victories, some triumphs, because even trials can be a learning experience. I see you all saying you need med beds. Yeah, we need money. We need so much. I understand that. Rich Pritch said, order more silver Sunday from Miles Franklin and use my referral. Thank you, Rich P. Rich. For those of you all who wondering what he's talking about, silver hit new all-time highs, and we'll talk about that. So those people who know the importance of silver and gold went and got some silver and gold. And even when they saw the prices go back down, they saw it as a new buying opportunity. See, life is about perspective sometimes. If you have a scarcity mentality or a lack mentality, then you'll look at things as bad, or you'll look at the downside of things. But when you have an abundance mentality or a prosperous mentality or a positive outlook on life, like what people call the glass half full, then you have a tendency to look for opportunities, to see challenges as places of growth or opportunity for growth. You look at bad things that happen to you and something you can learn from. So Rich P. Rich bought the dip. When he saw the prices of silver and gold go down, he called Miles Franklin, which is my affiliate. So those of you who want precious metals, you can call Miles Franklin at 952-929-7006 or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com and let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you so you can get the best prices in the industry. Sham Bam was blessed with a new job. Wow, that's awesome. This is awesome. Okay, Rich said he heard that a lot of silver places are using what you said, the Asian market prices. All right. Many victories, many victories. Okay, so welcome. This is the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. This is Wednesday, December the 31st. 2025. I think it's Wednesday. I sometimes forget. Yes, Wednesday the 31st, 2025, and the time is 9:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep checking in, family. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how we know 2026 is our year of prosperity. One way we know that is because we declare it to be so. We do have the power to command things to happen in our reality. We can usher things to happen very quickly by having an abundance mindset, knowing that there's an overflow of wealth, riches, and resources. And just imagine how you desire for it to look. Imagine how you are going to feel when that happens, and actually live from that place. Live in the emotion of joy. Live in the emotion of glee, knowing that all these things are going to happen for our benefit. Changing Winds woman said 2025 was a year of learning. Awesome. It was challenging and smooth at the same time. It showed me who my true friends are. A year of preparation for what is to come. I love that. Yes, I absolutely adore that. We can declare and decree that all the abundance of the universe is available for us. Thank you, blessed and highly favored. Absolutely. Akia says 2025 taught us to push our frequencies into higher vibrations to live from the mindset of our abundance and blessings. All right. I love this. I love this. You know, when you start to look at life from a lens of abundance and you start to thank the creator and your ancestors or source or even your highest self for all the good things that happen in your life, you'll raise the vibrational frequencies around you. You'll even raise your own joy to a high level because gratitude and expression of gratitude does something to the atmosphere around you. So as you awaken in the morning, you can say, I'm grateful that I'm alive. Thank you for allowing me to have breath in my body. Thank you that my family members are living and breathing. Thank you for the sun shining. Thank you for a new opportunity today. This start to enumerate the things for which you're grateful, even if things in your life don't seem to be going as well as you like for them to go. It's okay to acknowledge those feelings and those things. I just want you to also enumerate or count your blessings, count and enumerate all the things for which you're grateful. So now that we have 248 people coming in the chat, Happy New Year. Happy 2026, prosperous new year. Happy abundant new year. Let's get in the podcast for the day. Jay Branch says, thank you, Dr. Kia, for all your time and teaching. It is very much appreciated. You are welcome. It's my great pleasure. I am fulfilling my mission and purpose in life to raise the vibrations of the planet and to help everyone have as much joy as possible in the middle of whatever kind of year we go through. Okay. So come on, family, keep checking in. I'm about to go into the podcast. Who is this that said, Sister Melissa said, never been this happy in my life. Wow. And the gift is me. Authentic gratitude, Akia says, authentic expression is 10,000 times more powerful than forced mindsets. Letting go and being your authentic self will bring abundance. I love that. I love that. Okay, family. So a lot has happened in 2025. A lot. I see you all checking in. Keep checking in. I'm looking up something right quick that I forgot to look up before the podcast started. So before we talk about exactly all the things that happened in 2025, we have to start off with how 2026 opened the door for 2025. So a lot of things, 2024, opened the door for a lot of 2020. What happened in 2025? A lot of things happened to set the stage for 2025. 2024 was a very, very critical time period. This is the time we were getting rid of the Biden administration. President Trump had won the elections. He was about to come on back in 2025 and be inaugurated. Yes. So 2024 set the precedent for what was to come in 2025. A few things that happened in 2024 were the overturning of the chevron doctrine. The chevron doctrine was the doctrine that allowed the United States government to have unlimited powers. The government at that time had 441 agencies attached to it, and they were allowed to have any type of power to do anything they wanted to do, to create any statutes, legalities, policies, codes, and force us to abide by them, and then sic their policy enforcers upon us, also known as police officers, in order for us to have to do those things. Well, that's the Chevron doctrine gave the United States government unlimited power. But in 2024, around June, the summertime, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine. They went further. They didn't just say that the United States Incorporated had encroached upon our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, but they said the United States government and all 441 agencies were unlawful, unconstitutional, and treasonous. So if you're asking yourself, what are the 441 government agencies that you're talking about what you're speaking? Well, we have a list of those that I've put in the description section for you, and I can put it in the chat later. But What that set the precedent for was the demolishing, or taking down of the United States government. The Supreme Court went a step further and didn't just say those 441 agencies like the FBI, the CIA, EPS, CPS, IRS, all those institutes, yes, the Housing Authority, HOA, all type of authorities. Not only must they be dismantled, but the Supreme Court of the United States that stated that every judge that went along with United States Incorporated and all those agencies, they also were treasonous. And every judge that knew of a judge that allowed that to happen, they were committing misprision of treason. So the overturning of the chevron doctrine in the summer of 2024 was very, very pertinent for what President Trump did in 2025 when he closed down the government and created the Department of Government Efficiency. So that Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE, was actually something that the military had instructed President Trump and Elon Musk to do, to look at all the things that the government was doing, look at how the money was spending, freeze the assets of these agents that call themselves government workers, and return that money back to we the people. So 2024, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the chevron doctrine. For those who don't know the difference between the United States Incorporated and America, I'll pause right here to say the United States Incorporated is a group of individuals, what I call bloodline families, that usurped authority or took authority from the Republic. But the Republic, our lawful government, was running concurrently and at the same time as the United States Incorporated. The Republic hasn't gone anywhere. It's always been here. And people who know how to abide by the Republic and live in the private are still lawfully living. They don't pay taxes. They abide by the Constitution for the United States of America. They are not bothered by the police. They know how to live in the private. So again, the United States Incorporated usurped authority by masquerading as the government, created their own constitution called the Constitution of the United States incorporated themselves in the state of Delaware in 1871 as a nonprofit religious organization with the Pope as the head. Okay, so the United States Incorporated had 441 government agencies that they created, they made up from nowhere, and they had a central bank called the Central Bank of the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve central banking system created what we call fiat, or United States dollars. They had their own constitution, the Constitution of the United States Incorporated. But America stands, the land stands, the people are here, the Republic is here, and we have the Constitution for the Republic of America, and we have our laws. Now, on the contrary, the United States Incorporated have legalities, statutes, policies, and codes. They have policy enforcers called police officers. Our Republic has laws, period. And the enforcer of the law is the sheriff. We see all across the United States police departments downsizing and closing, in fact, and the duties of the policy enforcers or police departments are being rolled over into the sheriff departments, because according to our Constitution, the only entities that can enforce the law is the sheriff. The sheriffs wear brown, and here in the state of Florida, they also wear green because they abide by the laws of the land, like the brown, the earth, and the green, the grass. The policy enforcers of the United States Incorporated wear black and blue because they were abiding by the Admiralty law or maritime law, laws of the water. So they wear blue. Water equals blue. That's why they always say, watch the water, because it has to do with the United States Incorporated. When you see the water doing crazy things, you know that they're taking away the order and the powers of the deep state, the cabal of the United States Incorporated. The police departments also wear black because they considered us lost at sea and in fact dead. That's why judges wear black robes as well, because they are actually performing a funeral, and some say a seance in the courtrooms. So you'll see things in the United States, under the United States Incorporated, that relate to water, like banks, okay? But that's why banks are closing. Watch the water, watch everything that deals with the water. Banks are closing. So you see banks, docks, dockets in the courtroom, a seance or a funeral being done by a judge or an administrator of the trust. A lot of banking and water sea terminology that we saw going on before we usher into 2026. So the Chevron doctrine really set the precedent for what's going to happen. The overturning of Chevron doctrine set the precedent for what was going to happen in 2025 and moving forward. That happened around June 2024. Another thing, actually it was June the 28th, 2024. Another thing that happened around June, July, or the summer of 2024 was the Supreme Court ruled that state-sponsored banks can operate independently from the Federal Reserve central banking system, and state-sponsored banks could have their own charter and they could issue out their own gold-backed currencies. So what that meant is now state-sponsored banks are now sovereign. Now they can operate independently from the Federal Reserve central banking system, independently from the United States Incorporated, and they can issue out real money. Okay. At this same time, we saw all these banks become Basel III compliant, meaning they had to recognize gold as a tier 1 asset. In layman's terms, banks started publicly stating that they were Basel III compliant, meaning that they recognized gold as money and they started accumulating gold in record numbers. So that's when people start becoming aware of what's going on 2024 as we were ushering in 2025. Now, if you fast forward through what the Supreme Court of the United States did, and we also saw, what else? We saw the Brunson brothers bring up cases against the Joe Biden administration and all their cases coming to the Supreme Court, stating that Joe Biden and 385 members of Congress were colluding against the American people, and that how we needed to return our system from admiralty law and from maritime law and from a corporation back over to the republic. So a lot happened in 2024. And then you fast forward all the way to December the 24th, 2024, and we saw Pope Francis open up what he called 2025 Jubilee portals. So he opened up portals starting from December 24, 2024, all the way in through 2025, and he will close the portal or the door January the 6th, 2026. So some people are saying, hey, I thought it was something supposed to happen. I experienced Jubilee. I don't know how y'all feel in 2025, but I made sure I was going to experience a Jubilee in 2025. I made sure I availed myself of opportunities to get in on a wealth transfer. I made sure that I availed myself of opportunities to get out of debt. I made sure that I availed myself to bring joy and prosperity in the lives of others. So I had a very Jubilee year, very much so in 2025. But a lot of people didn't because of all the high gas prices and prices, period. But when Pope Francis opened that portal starting December 24th, 2024, and he said, this is the 2025 year of Jubilee portal that I'm opening. He did it from a prison, which was a ritual, stating that he was letting the captives free. And what gave him the authority to do that is Pope Francis was the leader of the United States Incorporated, right? Because remember, they were actually a religious nonprofit organization, the United States Incorporated. That's how they registered themselves, with the Pope as the head. That's what gave him the authority. So when he opened the portal, he was actually doing a ritual letting us know that, okay, we're about to let the slaves go free. And then I'm going to close that portal 2026 because January 6, 2026, because it's over for us. So now let's get into 2025. And by the way, thank you all so much. I do hear that you are sending me a Cash App blessing. I appreciate it. I will acknowledge all of you shortly. But before I do, I want to say thank you so much to Shannon Hubbard. I heard it come in. Oh, Leonard Lassiter Bay, God bless you and your wife so much. I love you too. And Ishmael Aziz and JM as well. Thank you so much for the blessing. So let's get into how that opening up the portal December the 24th, 2024 was very, very critical. On that same day, December 24th, Zero Hedge published an article that said we're going to experience a debt jubilee in biblical proportions. Are you ready? So all this was happening to let us know 2025, you're about to see a whole lot of things happen that relates to our freedom, our liberty, and our prosperity. Now, a lot of people might not have realized that or seen it with their naked eye, but that's why I'm here to show you what happened. So we talked about Zero Hedge, the Supreme Court of the United States, and what they did. Also in 2024, banks met globally to ensure that they were ready for foreign currency exchanges. I talked about that. I went into depth about that. I showed you all the articles. Banks met globally all around the world to make sure they were ready for foreign currency exchanges because they knew that 2025 was going to be a year where all the countries would redenominate their currencies, lop off zeros. They would unveil their new currencies, and they will have a global currency reset. So banks met globally 2024 to ensure that. And the articles that I read stated that the reasons why banks needed to meet was because they had to make sure they were all Basel III compliant, and all the banks that weren't compliant, meaning that they didn't recognize gold as a tier one asset, and also meaning that they didn't have foreign reserve notes or tier two assets, those banks must be closed. So Basel III said you had to have gold as a tier one asset and you had to have foreign reserve notes or foreign currencies. Now, the way the article stated it was banks had to have reserve notes or tier two assets. And that these are banking terminologies. They didn't let you know what reserve notes were or tier two assets. So that's why researchers are here to dig into what the coded messages were. And I showed you all what that meant. The reason why they had to have those assets is because having gold and foreign currencies preserve the bank and prevents them from going bankrupt in the event that there's economic instability in the world. So additionally, Basel III compliance meant that banks had to be monitored and they had to have what some people are calling the quantum financial system, a system in place that will read the energy of individuals that have accounts there and that will make sure all transactions are benevolent. So a lot of things happened for 2024 as we ushered into 2025. Now, after that, what happened? President Trump, of course, he won the 2024 elections and he came in January 2025. And as soon as he came in, he started using that pen against the deep state. He started using the methodology of the deep state, which is executive orders, to take down the deep state cabal, United States Incorporated. So as of December 22nd, 2025, we see that President Trump has signed 225 executive orders, 56 memoranda, and 114 proclamations in his second presidential term. And that just began January the 20th, 2025. So he came in with a bang. So let me reiterate that. As of today and as of December 22nd, when we last started counting, President Donald John Tavius Trump signed 225 executive orders, 56 memorandum, and 114 proclamations during his second term as president. And that is the term that he started January 20th, 2025. Let's break down the numbers. He signed 225 executive orders. That's 9. The number 9, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 is the number of completion, the end of one thing, the beginning of something else. 56 memoranda, which equals 11. 11 is a portal or a doorway. Out with the O, in with the new. 114, as you know, 1 plus 1 plus 4 equals 6. 6 is the number of humanity. You can also put in the chat what 6 represents. And if you remember what Sheik Bey said to us, that number 14 has to do with the ideology of white supremacy, 41 in reverse, or 411, information of 41 has to do with the king. So all these numbers represent something. What else happened in 2025? As soon as President Trump came in, he created a sovereign wealth fund. And he stated all other nations have sovereign wealth funds. Why don't we? A sovereign wealth fund is a fund or a trust that's comprised of stocks, bonds, real estate, tariff or money from tariffs, rare earth minerals, precious metals like silver, gold, palladium, platinum, and oil, all this wealth in a trust. And he said this would be used to help the American people, number one, number two, for investments, and number three, to build or rebuild our infrastructure. So President Trump came in talking about wealth. He created the Sovereign Wealth Fund. We already talked about DOGE, of the Department of Government Efficiency, that he tasked Elon Musk with coming up with. You all remember that the Department of Government Efficiency started looking at all the money that was being spent. And they found out that United States aid that was supposed to go to foreign countries was being misappropriated. They found that money and they figured out that only 1% of the money that was earmarked to help nations, mainly developing nations, did not even go, only 1% went to them. 99% of the money did not even go to these nations. Wild. That's crazy. So what they did was they actually made some arrests. They confiscated the money and they said, we're going to hold it and put it in the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Happy New Year to you too. Right? So hold on 1 minute. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to see if I can find my military book that I've been reading and looking at so I can show you that we are under military operation. A lot of people don't realize that this is serious business. President Trump is actually being tasked by the military to take down the deep state. And as I told you all in the letter called Motu Proprio that I read, you can look at my videos on Motu Proprio. This is something that Pope Francis said was going to happen anyway. He said Motu Proprio was the letter saying that the United States Incorporated, their time was up. And that if they didn't stand down and cease and desist, then the Grand Army of the Republic would be formed with General Ham at the forefront, and the Grand Army of the Republic would take them down. So I'm going to talk more about this book in a minute, but if you get a chance to read it, it's the United States Department of Defense Law of War Manual. We are currently under military operation, and the Law of War talks about how anytime you have rogue elements coming to take over a government, then the military can be formed or a militia to systematically take down that rogue government. That's what we're experiencing right now, okay? Very good book. I read this book. I perused through this book. You see how thick it is. I read The Art of War. I read the 48 Laws of Power and other military books, just to let me know and inform me of what's really going on in these streets. So what else has happened? Keep talking, family. Well, we talked about the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the chevron doctrine. So they are using the powers that they have that was given to them by the deep state to take down the deep state, because a lot of the people that are in there, like you actually have some real constitutional judges in the Supreme Court, maybe just a few, but many of them recused themselves and stepped down before Trump came back because they were afraid of what was going to happen in 2025. Also, what happened in 2025 was President Trump brokered trade deals with countries in the Middle East, and he brokered trillions of dollars for we, the American people. That money came into our sovereign wealth fund, which again is a trust. So President Trump came out the gate. He hit the ground running as soon as he came back, okay? He brokered trade deals in the amount of trillions of dollars. And some people thought that was a little strange that Qatar and some other nations were giving him rare earth minerals and giving him planes and giving him all this wealth and giving him gifts. But this is the way kings operate. This is the way leaders operate anyway. You give each other gifts. People don't know that because they just don't know how leaders and countries operate. President Trump also brokered a huge trade deal with China. That was something that mainstream media did not do a good job of reporting. Brokering a trade deal with China was very, very important. It was critical because now you're talking about the two largest economies in the world that have made agreements with one another. So that now every other nation had to pause and pay attention. At the same time this was happening, the BRICS bloc, comprised of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, had expanded. By 2022, 85% of the global population had joined BRICS. So by 2025, when President Trump had come in, almost all of the nations were a part of BRICS or the Shanghai Cooperation Organizations. Those were some Asian nations that said, we're going to stop trading with the dollar, in agreement with BRICS saying we're going to stop trading with the dollar and use their own local currencies backed by precious metals and other resources. So President Trump brokered a huge trade deal with China. A lot of people didn't like that, but because he put tariffs on these nations and brokered trade deals, then some prices did go up. But that is the cost that you pay. That's what happens until everything balances out. It's best, in my humble opinion, or my very strong opinion, to put tariffs or taxes on countries, because what is the other side of that? If you don't tax countries, you will tax the people. President Trump stated when he came back under his second administration, I'm going to do away with the Internal Revenue Service and create the External Revenue Service. I want to stop taxing the people, get rid of the IRS, and create the E.Os and tax other nations for doing business with us. Now, President Trump has said in his last administration that I've been concerned about the devaluation of currencies for a long time. But the way I'm going to remedy the devaluation of currencies all across the world is to put something in place to revalue currencies and make sure they're on a level playing field and all countries' currencies will be one-to-one with each other. What was it that he had intended to put in place? It was putting tariffs on these other nations, because when you put taxes and tariffs on other nations, that forces them to come to the table and make some trade deals. He is the great negotiator. He has a book about it. He is a consummate businessman. He, of course, went through bankruptcies. He knows about entrepreneurship. He has a degree in business, so he knows what he's doing. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. So he brokered a huge trade deal with China, which forced other nations to come to the table. He brokered trillions of dollars in the Middle East. And what that did was that actually raised the silver and gold prices, because when he brokered trade deals, other nations saw that he was putting taxes and tariffs on them. Then these nations started accumulating gold in mass numbers. Entrepreneurs and central banks started accumulating gold as well in record numbers, because anytime people stop trading with the dollar, or they know that their dollar is going to be taxed, they look for what's called a safe haven. They look for something to put their money in that's very safe. What is that safe haven? It is silver and gold. So when you look for a way to save your money, you put it in silver, gold, land, businesses, and other hard assets, copper. You might even start putting it in mining stocks, things like that. But that is what led to the next bullet point of what we saw happening in 2025. We saw silver and gold hit new all-time highs. Like almost every month, we saw a change in the prices. Now, what that means is the dollar, or the United States Incorporated fiat dollar, the USD, is decreasing in value, because it's a basic economic principle. As gold and silver increase in value, that means that the dollar is decreasing in value. Another way to put that is the United States dollar decrease in value, silver and gold is increasing in value. Let me know if you're staying with me, family, or if I need to slow down or speed it up. I'll do that, okay? Melissa says Trump The first time I ever voted, God told me to vote for Trump. All right. I love you too. So we saw the prices in silver and gold go up in value. And we knew then that that meant that people were rushing to a safe haven. This is why King's World published an article that says the world is hurtling back to gold as money. The world is rushing back to gold and silver as money. Another thing that happened in 2025 is people started recognizing, basically because people like Dr. Kia Pruitt, like I, or like me, started saying, hey, states are doing something very important behind the scenes that mainstream media is not talking about. People became aware that states had repealed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals. And when you repeal or remove the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals, you are reclaiming silver and gold as money, because according to our Constitution, you may not tax money. It's unlawful. It is treasonous. So the fact that the Federal Reserve central banking system had taxed money and had said that gold and silver were not money, but they were relics and they were used as collectibles, and they were no longer could be utilized or used to pay off debts. That lets you know that the United States Incorporated they're nefarious and they had to be dismantled. They're unlawful. States repealed or removed the state sales tax from the sales of precious metals, thus acknowledging silver and gold as money. Because according to Article 1, Section 10, the only thing that can be used to pay off money or pay off debt, is silver and gold. The dollar, according to our Constitution, is defined as a fixed weight in silver and a fixed weight in gold. So it was very, very important for the Sound Money Defense League to actually acknowledge that states were removing the sales tax from the sales of precious metals. As of 2025, 46 states had all agreed to remove taxes from precious metals. That's huge, because now we're only left with 4 states, and those 4 states will do so in 2026 or by 2026. That means they only got a few more hours to do that. Maybe by the time 2026 roll around, beginning of January, we'll actually see articles stating that has happened. Also, as I said, silver and gold reached new all-time highs. Also, the reason for that is because BRICS nations and the Shanghai Corporation nations said no, they're no longer going to trade with the dollar. They're going to use their own currencies. So what led up to that was we saw lots of countries actually state that they were going to end corruption in their country. They were going to work with other banks and the central bank of their nation to revalue their country currencies against the United States dollar, and they were going to return their stolen money. We saw some countries actually state that, like Iraq and like Vietnam and some other countries. Another thing that happened in 2025, like I mentioned a little earlier, was when President Trump came on in 2025, he started writing executive orders, and then he met with the military all across the world, the military leaders, and released the National Guard in preparation for shutting down the government. So we saw a government shutdown in 2025, even though that caused a lot of people to go home. And some people even were encouraged or enticed to retire early. What was happening, what that let us know is that the government was in fact being downsized. So we saw a government shutdown. Also in 2025, President Trump cracked down on immigration. He also cracked down on birthright citizenship and naturalization. That's huge, because a lot of leaders before him allowed our borders to be open, and they allowed people from all over the world to come and live on American soil and vote unlawfully, utilize resources, take over whole neighborhoods. And some of these individuals that were coming in the country were gang members from some of these nations. And some of them were MS-13 members that infiltrated the police departments. That's why you saw a lot of thugs in the police departments actually unalive a lot of people. Okay. So all of these entities were coming into our borders to take over our country. So President Trump took a hard stance against all of these things, like birthright citizenship, like naturalization and immigration. In fact, Biden had admitted that he allowed over 300,000 unlawful immigrants to fly into our country under his administration. That was how many he admitted to. We don't even know how many people came. Not only that's how many flew in, how many swam through the oceans, how many crossed by walking, how many took a boat, how many came even before Biden had come in. We don't know. What else happened in 2025? African nations brokered deals with nations like Venezuela. For example, Burkina Faso brokered a deal with Venezuela and said, hey, you have a lot of oil. You have more oil than Russia, more oil than Saudi Arabia, more oil than most nations. So Burkina Faso and other African nations said, we will trade your oil for our gold. We have gold, they said. So that was huge because now we see the sovereignty of African nations that have been colonized by European nations. A lot of things happened in 2025. What else happened in 2025? African nations not only brokered a deal with Venezuela, but the African nations got together and formed an alliance and started kicking out colonists from their countries. For example, the French colonized nations like Burkina Faso, Chad, Niger, Mali, and Senegal all kicked out the French. They kicked out the French colonists, they kicked out the French military, and they created their own military. And they said, we're not afraid. We have our own military. We'll support our own individual countries, and we will help each other with the backing of none other than Vladimir Putin. Interestingly enough, Vladimir Putin had stated when he went to the BRICS conference that all nations should stop trading with the dollar. And he said that he would support them. And he encouraged the African nations to do exactly what they did, kick out the colonists. What do you think is happening in America with President Trump's stance on naturalization or against naturalization? He's now denaturalizing some individuals. And he's taking a stance against birthright citizenship and immigration. He's closing the borders. He's saying, hey, he's really deporting people in mass numbers. He's actually getting rid of a lot of the entities that had overtaken our republic and our land. So African nations are now standing in their sovereignty. What else happened? Money had been cut off to billionaires in 2025. And we started seeing that happen with the arrest of billionaires, the unaliving of billionaires, and the sudden deaths of billionaires. And it's because a lot of them were participating in crimes against humanity. Another thing that happened is that President Trump cut off money to Venezuela, Nigeria, and some other nations like Arab nations who were all a part of global trafficking. So you saw President Trump surround Venezuela. You saw people saying he's striking Nigeria. But what you didn't know, and what the mainstream media will not cover, is that they were getting rid of, the military was getting rid of threats from foreign entities. So, the military can get rid of or attack any threats that are foreign and domestic. So we not only saw President Trump take a stance against some of the nations like Venezuela, Nigeria, and other nations, but we saw him taking a stance against certain individuals and entities right here in America. They are attacking these threats, foreign and domestic. So President Trump cut off money to Venezuela, Nigeria, and Arab nations because they were all part of a global trafficking network about which most people know very little. Also in 2025, we did see Israel's leader kissing up to President Trump, but we know that they're saving the best for last. They're saving Israel for last. And we heard Chief Rod Pontiac Hayes say on a live that he and I did on the Arisha Stone show, we saw Chief Rod Hayes state that even though you might see Israel's leader kissing up to Trump, Trump has a way of letting you see who the Judases are, making you think that he is in agreement with these nations, but then he's going to take them down. So I wouldn't be too concerned about this allegiance that it looks like President Trump has with Israel. He doesn't. We all knew that the government is saving Israel for last. Another thing that happened is the illusions, they're all falling apart. The illusion of Hollywood, that they are real stars that we're supposed to look up to, that's falling apart. The illusions that nothing's going on with trafficking, that's falling apart. We have seen and heard about what's happened in Disney and on Disneyland, and with the whole Disney conglomerate, how they had underground trafficking places underneath Disneyland, how Disney were creating their own laws. They had their own government. And this is why the governor of Florida took away Disney's power to govern themselves. He said, no more self-governing. You're going to go by the same laws as everybody else in the state. So the illusions are falling apart. Hollywood has stopped producing movies. The music industry is collapsing. So much is happening in 2025. Who else? J.F. Kennedy Jr. has been on a campaign, also known as David Keith Quigley, to talk about a lot of stuff that happened to him, the Kennedy family, and all the stuff that happened in Hollywood and all the stuff that happened with a lot of other politicians, and how it was all one big club and one big gang where they did a lot of MK Ultra mind control and a lot of horrible things to children. Now, whether or not you find David Quigley's book as enthralling, he still uncovers a lot that has occurred in the government. And he wrote a couple of books. So you can look at his website, John F. Kennedy Jr. He says he is the real John F. Kennedy Jr. I've had the esteemed pleasure of actually interviewing him several times. In fact, I need to text him and tell him Happy New Year. But people are starting to come out to say, these are the things that have happened behind the scenes with the federal government. And some people say, I don't believe it. Some people say, I do believe it. It doesn't matter because it's actually coming out. Another thing that people are becoming aware of is the website resignation.info, where you see tens of thousands of people that were forced to resign within many, many countries, about almost 200 countries. And these people are people in power that were religious leaders, prime ministers, CEOs of banks, CEOs of corporations. So the illusion that everything's in place and everything's good, it's actually falling apart. And that started actually coming at the forefront in 2025. Another thing that happened in 2025 is that Iraq created a hub or a transportation hub that connected Iraq to more than 66 nations, making Iraq the new transportation hub of the Middle East and the transportation hub of the world. What happened in April, once they created this transportation system, was that increased the demand for the Iraqi dinar. And that then attracted foreign investors to the nation in 2025. So for those of you investing in Iraq, when you see that Iraq has now attracted the most amount of foreign investors that they've ever attracted in the world, you know something is happening. That has a lot to do with that new transportation hub that they created. And it was actually released April, or about the 1st or 2nd of April, 2025. Another thing that happened in 2025 is President Trump fired a bunch of IRS agents and closed many IRS or Internal Revenue Service offices. So I'm just a little more than halfway done. I'm on number 20, all the things that happened in 2025 that most people don't know about. What does that mean when Trump fires a bunch of IRS agents and closes many IRS offices? That means they're preparing us for a reality for in 2026, or golden reality, where we're not going to be taxed anymore. The IRS is being done away with. He said he would do that, and he's doing it. Under his first administration, he had rolled the duties of the IRS over into the United States Treasury Department. He rolled the duties of the IRS and the Federal Reserve over into the Internal Revenue Department. Why did he do that? because the only entity that may deal with money, according to our republic, is the United States Treasury Department. The republic has been restored behind the scenes, family. Also, what happened was you saw that the Federal Register had actually listed all of the government agencies, all those agencies attached to United States Incorporated, before, when the chevron doctrine was overturned by the Supreme Court of the United States in 2024, the spring of 2024, the summer of 2024, there were 441 registered government agencies. Now there are 444. Somebody put in the chat the significance of 444. Everything is coded, family. So the Federal Register now listed, as of 2025, 444 government agencies. Many of these have behind the scenes been dismantled already. Most of them will have to be completely taken down because these federal agencies have nothing to do with our republic. All these licenses, certificates have nothing to do with the republic. They're going to be null and void. Watch, because they're all attached to the corporation that were putting all these limitations on we the people, trying to strip us from our sovereignty. 444 is an angel number. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Somebody put in the chat, please, what it means. 444. Thank you so much for the donations, family. What else happened? Oh, you can look at federalregister.gov/agencies to see all the 444 listed government agencies. And yes, people have asked me about the Housing Authority, HOAs. That is listed under actually 5 departments, one of which is the Department of Defense. Another thing that happened in 2025 was Gold Star Mother Susan Price wrote an article that really awakened a lot of people to see that the food in the school system and the food in the prisons all was being administered by the Department of Defense. Why are our children who attend public schools and some private schools being fed food that is regulated by and dispersed by the Department of Defense? I don't know, but that made me raise my eyebrows. Chief Pontiac told us, he keeps telling us, we need to take our children out of the public, educate them ourselves, feed them ourselves, because you don't know what the enemy is doing to your children. And he also told us that a lot of these sleeper cells are being activated. And one thing I said on the show I did on the Arisha Stone show with Chief Pontiac is that I've noticed that public schools now are changing the way they do things, their policies. Now parents can't come into schools like they used to be able to. They can't volunteer. You have to show your ID at the door, and you're not even allowed in. If they allow you inside, because sometimes they'll just make you stay outside and tell them what you need. If they allow you to come inside, you have to stand right at the door. No more going in the back to visit your children in the schools. No more going back to eat lunch with them. No more going back to volunteer. And that lets me know that, in fact, they are planning for something to happen. And what Chief let us know is if you put these policies in place now, you're conditioning the people to know that they have to stay on the outside in the event something does happen on the inside. Parents won't bum rush. They can't just come in, right? They'll lock down all the doors. And everybody will be on lockdown. Now, while some people say that's a good thing because you're protecting people and keeping people out, but you're also trapping people in. So let's pay attention to everything that's happening and use our discernment so you know how to plan moving forward. Another thing that happened in 2025, according to the FDIC, was that we had 2 major bank failures. One bank failure occurred in January 2025. That was Pulaski Savings Bank in Chicago, Illinois, with 49.5 million in assets. And then another bank failure happened in June of 2025. That was the Santa Ana National Bank in Santa Ana, Texas, with 63.8 million in assets. Those were the 2 major banks that collapsed, but lots of banks have been collapsing since like 2018. Actually, it started in 2001. Between 2001 and 2025, we saw a lot of major banks collapse. And the reason for that is because there will only be a few banks that will survive, and they will in 2026, and they will actually be reclassified as wealth management centers. And I did a podcast on that the other day to let you know that these wealth management centers are being created because, according to the articles, the banks or the centers, wealth management centers, they anticipate a large amount of affluent people being created in 2026 moving forward. When you know about NASAR, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the global version of that, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, you know that they're going to release trillions of dollars into the global economy. And additionally, we're going to have access to our trust because we each have a trust. We have birth certificate bonds, social security numbers, which is actually a bank number. And these birth certificate bonds were circulating it on stock exchanges, accumulating interest. All that money will be returned to we the people. So you saw many banks collapse, but the remaining ones, again, will be wealth management centers that will be created for you to teach you how to manage your money, to help you create trust so you can protect your assets, to help you with investments, to help you with your humanitarian projects. And we know that's the case because, as I mentioned in my private group, and I'll put that link in the chat for you, we have a list of policies or banking procedures for foreign currency exchanges. That is going to happen, the foreign currency exchange, or else you won't have policies and what do you call it? Regulations for how people ought to conduct themselves. And these are policies that are authenticated by banks of what you need to do for foreign currency exchanges. I'll go ahead and put my private group in the chat in case you desire to join a private group. Of course, it's not something you have to do, of course, and it's just for those who want to see the banking protocols for foreign currency exchanges, or maybe you want to do deep dives into what it means to invest in foreign currencies. You might want to talk to other people who are invested in other countries and see what they think you could be doing or should be doing. So here's the link to the private group right there, if you're interested. Akia says PNC Bank removed or renamed, they're renamed to PNC Wealth Management. I said it right. We know. Thank you so much. That confirms what we're saying. Absolutely. Yes, Akia, locking parents out of the schools is conditioning people that their children are property of the state. I agree. I agree. Schools, according to who is that, Dewey, are, what do you call, brainwashing camps. Wow. Wow. Okay, what else is going on? A lot of you are homeschooling already. 444, according to Akia, is associated with protection, structure, and trust. I love that. Inviting you to build from a solid foundation. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow. I know you're tired. We are all tired of all the stuff that's been allowed to happen. Okay, what else has happened in 2025? We're recapping 2025, and we're going to command and declare what's going to happen in 2026. Kathleen said the NBA were caught up in illegal betting. Yes, in 2025. I agree. That's true, Kathleen. My son told me about that. Anything else you all want to talk about that happened in 2025? Put it in the chat and I'll read it. Okay, what else happened in 2025? Countries' currencies are changing. Many countries announced the lopping off of zeros off of their currencies. That's significant. Now, many people were a little concerned about that because they say if you lop off the zero, some nations were taking off as many as 6 zeros off their current currencies. So let's say you had $1 million note, that's like 6 or 7 zeros. When you say you lopped off several zeros, you had $1 million note. You lop off 7 zeros. Let me write down a million. A million is one. I think it's 6 zeros, right? So let's say you had $1 million note and you locked off 5 zeros, then they would take it down to what, a 10? 1 0 0. I think a 10 note, or was it a 1? But if you lock off several zeros, you see that it's just a small note. Some people were worried. Well, you're not lopping off, you're not changing the rate. It's still worth the same. The value is still the same, but it's significant. And I'll tell you why. Because when nations or countries were sanctioned, those countries then dealt with high inflation. No other country could do business with them, and they went through high inflation. So what the nations did was they added zeros. They added zeros during hyperinflation and during sanctions, which then meant that it made the value of their currencies worthless. So if in fact countries are now lopping off or removing zeros, then if we use our critical thinking, then we realize if they added zeros due to hyperinflation and sanctions, but now they're removing zeros, that means that's their way. Now that they're not dealing with hyperinflation, and it stands to reason that they're no longer sanctioned. And we know that is in fact the case because Trump has stated things like he removed the sanctions from Syria. He stated he was going to remove sanctions from Iran. And there were other nations that, if you look it up, the sanctions have been removed. So anytime you see a currency, again, revaluing or being redenominated by lopping off zeros, you know that that is an indication that the country is prepared for the foreign currency exchange because they are in fact revaluing their country's currency. I saw this happen with Venezuelan currency in 2021. That's how I knew there was something going on in Venezuela behind the scenes. I know Maduro is the president over there. I know there's a lot of corruption still going on over there, but they are in fact being surrounded by the military, our military, because behind the scenes you have benevolent people working, and you can see that that's what was happening. A lot of you all don't know that because you came into the currency game later, and some of you are just now understanding that Venezuela is a currency that you should invest in. But we knew that back in 2020, 2017, 2018, and we saw them lopping off the zero. So we knew in fact that was happening. So another thing again that's happening in 2025 is that many nations have announced that they've already lopped off the zeros off of their currencies. They're redenominating their currencies, and nations are unveiling their new currencies. They're not just saying they're going to lop off zeros. They're not just saying they're going to redenominate their currency, but they have unveiled their currency. In my private group, and I put the link in the chat right there, I showed our private group all the nations that I know about to date that have already unveiled their new currencies. It's a whole lot of them. This is how I know that 2026 is going to be an amazing year of prosperity for the whole world. What else happened in 2025 leading into 2026? Billionaires have stated they are pulling out of the traditional markets. Billionaires are saying that they're getting rid of cash, that they used to hold on to cash. They're not holding on to the United States dollar anymore. One particular billionaire stated publicly that the United States dollar was going to hell. And that particular billionaire said, invest in foreign currencies because the dollar is going to hell. Okay. And he even talked about which one to get into, one of the ones he was looking into. So billionaires they're no longer, they're dropping bonds. Countries are dropping the debt or United States bonds. Billionaires are saying they're not using the United States dollar, and they're now investing in foreign currencies. That's significant. Now, this is not something that most people know about because this is not information that mainstream media is bringing to the forefront. You have to investigate these things. But I'm telling you, I told you, you have the information and you can go and do research. So people would say to me, hey, Dr. Pruitt, I need the article, I need the date, if you're talking about court documents, I need the docket number, I need the this, I need the that. Usually I do go through all this time showing all these videos and articles to support my claim. And still people will say, I need more. Well, now I'm giving you the information because something we have to do on our own. We're going into another era where you're not going to be handheld. Everybody's not going to have the time to handhold people and tell them how they need to conduct their life. We have been led by the hand into hell for too long. Now we're going to have to put on our big girl britches and big girl undies and big gentleman undies and stand on our own 2 feet as sovereign individuals and start doing some research for ourselves. And we should feel good about that. What else has happened in 2025? Oh, Chief Pontiac Rod Hayes told us or alerted to us that there are 72 secret treaties about which we know nothing. 72 secret treaties that we need to look and see, examine and investigate to see what those are about. But I think that's important. 7 + 2 = 9, right? 9 is a very high vibrational number. It is the highest vibrational number. It's a number of completion. It is, again, a number of new beginnings. So you closing the old cycle, going into a new cycle. By the way, 2025 was the year of 9 as well. 2 + 0 + 2 + 5 is 9, a year of completion. Entering into the age of Aquarius and the age of the golden era. Also, something that happened in 2025 was a billionaire who is an economist by the name of Jim Rickards alerted us about a secret trust worth trillions of dollars that he says President Trump will release. So I investigated that trust and I know what it is now. But he said this trust is comprised of trillions of dollars. And he attached that to some information about how President Trump allegedly will release the mining rights to lands in America that the United States government had protected and said could not be unveiled. So these mines, rare earth mineral mines, precious mineral mines are located in Texas and in the Western Hemisphere of the United States. So according to Jim Rickards, the Supreme Court overturning the chevron doctrine is very, very critical and key to this wealth being released. So the government will lay claims to certain mines and say that you can't mine the gold here, you can't mine these rare earth minerals because they had the claims. When the chevron doctrine was overturned by the Supreme Court of the United States, and they took away the power from the United States government, and now you can actually release those mines and allow those lands to be mined. President Trump has the authority to do that now that the chevron doctrine has been overturned. Now there's no more red tape that will prevent people from mining those lands. Now, I would alert and caution people, though, before they go trying to figure out which lands they can mine, that some of these lands that the government laid claims to doesn't belong to them. And we got to be careful going and encroaching upon somebody else's land, because now that we're in the new system, now that we're in the republic, we're abiding by the republic, allodial titles, original rightful titles to lands will be given back to certain people who own those lands. So for a lot of people that bought houses and that are mining lands and they're discovering oil and precious metals, et cetera, farming even on certain lands, they're going to have to give up that land, some of them, because they don't own the allodial title. Look up allodial title. So under this new system of returning back to the republic, people are going to reclaim their land. So although I'm excited about these mines being released and excited about an opportunity for us to mine these lands and utilize these lands for mining and digging oil, et cetera, you still have to know that whoever that land belongs to, they're coming back for that land. But if you've bought land or houses or mines or whatever, and it is discovered that you don't own a loyal title, you will be compensated for that. We know that because now we're entering into a new era. And Judge Anna Von Reitz has also confirmed that people who bought lands that belong to someone else unbeknownst to them will be compensated. They'll have to return the land to the rightful owner, but they will be compensated because they didn't know they were buying up land. Also, what happened in 2024 or 2025, excuse me, is that our sources have disclosed that President Trump is building a new golf course in Iraq. And I actually dug into that. It's true. It's true. So what's going on in Iraq? I'd be paying attention. Another thing happened in 2025 is that Vietnam, as well as Iraq, has said they're open for business. And both of those nations came to America, talked to the administration, the president's administration, to make sure that their agreements were solidified, their treaties were solidified. And then both of those nations, Iraq and Vietnam, went to billionaires, American billionaires in Texas, Detroit, and other places, and asked our billionaires and millionaires to invest in their respective countries. That happened in 2025. Pay attention to Vietnam and Iraq, family. A lot's happening, and a lot happened in 2025. Another thing happened in 2025 was that African nations unveiled their new Pan-African Payment and Settlement System called PAPS, P-A-P-P-S. This was deemed as a revolution of cross-border payments in Africa. Now they can do cross-border payments and trade amongst each other as an African nation, and they can circumvent, work around all other nations, including this fake entity called the United States Incorporated. The African nations have formed a union to support each other, to make sure they fight wars in alignment with each other, supporting each other and helping each other militarily, and they have their own new payment system. That all this is what happened in 2025. This is the stuff that I wrote down and documented, and I made sure I listed so that you can see that 2025, a lot happened. Now, that was according to my research, based on what I've been reporting throughout 2024 and 2025. Something that's in the news, though, about what happened in 2025 is AI adoption, how it's rapidly growing and spreading throughout the whole world. That's something to pay attention to. Additionally, you all know that there was an activist who was a conservative activist and a media public figure by the name of Charlie Kirk. He was also a controversial figure. He was unalived in 2025. I'm sure that means something. I'm sure if you decode it, it means something. I didn't really follow the story. I just know a lot of people were talking about it in 2025. In October also of 2025, there was a ceasefire that was brokered between Hamas and Israel. That's huge because a ceasefire meant that now we're moving towards peace. Also in 2025, the Jeffrey Epstein saga continued to make headlines as new documents were released in 2025. Now, will they do a full disclosure? I don't know. And some part of me saying probably not. But if they do, it would be great because then we can see what really was going on in those Epstein caves and underground places. In 2025, Kendrick Lamar was one of the most talked about artists in music, driven by the ongoing effect of his song, Not Like Us. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. And I just did a podcast called They're Not Like Us. And in that podcast, I talk about extraterrestrials and other beings that came here to enslave the planet. But he was one of the most talked about artists in music history. And it was driven by his song, Not Like Us. It was his longest charting rap song ever. Why that's important to note, I don't know. But for me, it would be because they're letting us know that these entities are not like us. Not only these extraterrestrials or interterrestrial beings, they're not like us, but also the people in power. They're not like us. A lot of them are hybrids of many different extraterrestrial beings, some mixed with human DNA. And they can shapeshift to look like us. You see many of the politicians shapeshift and look like reptilians. They can change their nature and look like they're us, but they're not like us. So I think that's why Kendrick Lamar's song was the most talked about song in the history of music. He spent more, that song spent more than 50 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 list. And in China, Xi Jinping pushed for strategic autonomy and regional dominance also in 2025. Listen, China has been a superpower many times in history. So if you think they're not trying to reclaim that spot again, I want you to reconsider, because they did publish a book in 2014 called Africa is China's Second Continent. I feel like they're trying to make a lot of other continents, including North America, one of their continents. So we have to do our due diligence to make sure that does not happen. And one of the things that led up to 2025, though, that's good news, is that 400 million people defected from the Chinese Communist Party. And Evergrande, the largest real estate company owned by China and the Chinese Communist Party, went bankrupt, and they were forced to liquidate. They went bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy in America. That should let you know something, because before 2025, China was buying up land all over the world. But here in America, they were buying up land on military bases and around the military bases. They were buying up farmland. They've been caught producing fake rice that is actually plastic. And some of the companies here in America that was producing food and distributing food, a lot of those companies, those so-called American companies, most of them aren't American, okay, but they are registered as American companies. They had allegiances with the Communist Chinese Party of China, who was poisoning not only our rice and the rest of our foods, but they were putting fentanyl in a lot of the protein shakes and a lot of supplements. So I pay attention to China. So when they said that Xi Jinping of China pushed for strategic autonomy and regional dominance, maybe for his nation, that's a good thing, because they're establishing their sovereignty. But I would keep my eye on all these entities that came into America. Because if you remember, on February the 8th, 2020, Mike Pompeo, who was the Secretary of State at that time under the first Trump administration, went to the governors conference on February 8th, 2020, and he said, I saw what all you governors did. I have a report card of how complicit you all have been with the CCP or the Communist Chinese Party. And I see that you allowed every segment of our society be infiltrated by Chinese spies. You allowed them in the university. Say, yes, we have some nice, benevolent, good Chinese people or Asian people that came into the country, but many of them were spies. They came into the research institutions. They came into the universities. They've infiltrated the banking system. They've infiltrated the housing market. They bought up real estate. They infiltrated the government. A lot of you governors are married to them, to the spies. He said, I have a report card listing all of you governors, and I see how complicit you've been, what you've allowed to happen, and I'm telling you to stop. This was in February, right before the government shutdown, right before the whole world shut down. He said, do the right thing. And if you don't, he says, a former FBI director, was he former FBI or former CIA? Mike Pompeo, somebody put in the chat for me. I already knew what you all were doing, but now I'm telling you to do the right thing. So those are all the things that I can think of. I'm sure there's much more that happened in 2025. As we go into 2026, family, I hope you can see that executive orders have been written to take down the deep state. The military has formed to take down the deep state. President Trump met with the military, sent the National Guard into many different states. In fact, one thing I left out is that President Trump sending the National Guard into places like Chicago and other major cities in America got rid of the crime there. And now people were coming on social media thanking him, saying, now my children can go outside and play. Now the gangbangers, foreign and domestic, have stood down, because the military came in and let these gangbangers know, we're taking over now. You will not terrorize men, women, and children in these cities and states. He sent them into DC, the National Guard into DC. He threatened to send them to Baltimore. He sent them into Chicago and many other states. He threatened to send them into Los Angeles. I don't know if it happened or not. But pay attention, family, because the military is in control. And as we go into 2026, have high expectations and know that our liberty, freedom, prosperity, and peace are now a reality. Declare it. Command it to be so. Speak with authority. Know that it's happened. When you celebrate tonight, when that ball drops at midnight or the firecrackers go up all at once, and what they call a crescendo of fireworks, then rejoice that the world has been liberated. Rejoice that the gold standard is here. Rejoice that the global currency reset is here. Rejoice that you know this because countries have unveiled their new currencies. Rejoice that our republic has been restored. Rejoice that now we're going to have world peace. Rejoice, live, and celebrate as if it already occurred, because it has occurred already. It has occurred in a reality that you might not see, but you can bring that into this present reality now by rejoicing and expressing gratitude. What else happened in 2025? I'm going to bring up our good friend, one of my favorite tweeters. I'm going to bring up his posts, Ariel, also known as Proletario1 on Twitter, to let you all see what he's talking about. Yes, straight up factual. Rejoice, family, because change is a coming. I say, oh. President Trump, according to Divine Waters, did send the National Guard into Los Angeles. Outstanding. Green Eyes Jackson said he also sent some to New Orleans, bringing about order, law and order. Living Water said, I just saw where President Trump is removing the National Guard. All right. Yeah, these nations are still selling poison to us. We got to grow our own foods. We got to locate heirloom seeds. That's what I mean by we got to stop wanting to be handheld. We got to walk in our sovereignty. Y'all go to Arisha Stone's YouTube channel, subscribe there. Chief Pontiac Rod Hayes often goes on that channel. But yesterday, he was talking about some of the things that we're talking about in terms of how we need to stop letting the enemy tell us what to do. And Chief Pontiac also said, we got to stop thinking everything's supposed to be free. Nobody's going to keep holding our hands. Nobody's going to give us free stuff. We have to stand in our sovereignty and grow our own foods, educate our own children, create our own banks by getting silver, gold, other precious metals, copper, palladium, platinum, buying you some foreign currencies while you can. Some of them you can get for a couple dollars. Okay, when you change your mindset to an abundance mindset and know there's more than enough, and you see the world as being a beautiful place to live, and you know that there are opportunities for you, then you start looking for those opportunities. You'll say, you know what, gold might be $4,500 an ounce, but I need some gold. So you might decide to get gold backs, which is 24 karat gold pressed onto a note, real gold that you can use as legal tenders in most states to buy local goods and services. If you desire silver, you say, wait, silver might be like $75. Somebody tell me what it is in an ounce now, but it had gone up to over $80 an ounce. So now, instead of saying, oh my God, it's too high, what you can say is, it's going down low. That means it's a buying opportunity. You see how when you do a mind shift, how you can condition your brain to see things from a positive perspective. And if $72, $75, $79, $80 is out of your budget, you can say, okay, I still desire silver. How can I? Instead of saying, I can't, you will say, how can I get silver? Then your brain will start to look for opportunities, and you say, wait, constitutional silver is lawful silver, is 90% silver, is those silver coins that were minted before 1964 that are can be constitutionally used as money because it is constitutional money. That's affordable. Or you can say, I'll get some silverware, silver jewelry, sterling silver. Yes. Okay. I'll go to a pawn shop, an antique shop, an estate sale. You know how people are selling their houses and they're selling everything in it. When they do estate sales of everything in the house, oftentimes they have jewelry, collectibles like foreign currencies, like guns that are made of real silver, like bullets that are made of silver and gold, like silverware, like sterling silver utensils, like computers and cell phones that have silver and gold in them, like refrigerator, stove, microwave ovens, washer and dryers that contain silver, like old cars that might be looked as junk, but the catalytic converter has palladium or platinum in it or silver, like some things that are comprised of copper, which is now a asset that doesn't cost a lot. So some people might say, well, gold and silver are both out of my budget. I get you, but you can find copper at some of these online dealerships like JM Bullion, SD Bullion, Great American Coin Company, other places online. I don't know if Miles Franklin sells copper, but you can see copper for $2.50 an ounce. If we each bought 1 ounce of a precious metal, whether it's silver, gold, or copper, it doesn't matter. If everybody just bought at least one, we could destroy the system. We could destroy completely the banking system. If we all bought an ounce of silver, we would destroy and collapse the fiat dollar. But my point here is look for opportunities. You can get copper for $2.50. But Dr. Pruitt, I don't have $2.50. I hear people are come online and tell me, I can't do that. You're trying to sell this to make yourself rich. You're trying to sell this to people who can't afford. And I'm thinking, how are you online complaining? How are you online complaining to me about what you can't do if you don't have money? How did you afford the internet? How did you afford the cell phone? How do you afford to continue to upgrade your cell phones? Like, I've been thinking about that. How are you smoking weed and cigarettes and drinking alcohol and beer and kicking it and going out on vacations and you know what I'm saying? And spending a lot on your getting weaves and hair braids and getting our nails done. You know, nails cost upwards, I would say low end $40, $50 all the way up into the hundreds. So I'm like, how are people online complaining? It boggles my mind how you can even be on the internet, because how can you afford the internet if you have no money? What most of us need to do is reallocate our money and budget. And even if after you do your budget, you don't see any way you can eliminate something, you can get with family, you can get with friends. And people that operate from an abundance mindset will look for solutions so that they can have something and so that they can participate in the global wealth transfer, the greatest wealth transfer in history. They will look for low stocks. They will look for currencies with low denomination, like the Venezuelan bolivar that you can buy for a few dollars on an agri check. They will talk to their family members. And then some people like, thank you, Dr. Pruitt. That's a great idea. Then others will be like, I can't stand my family. I don't like my family. There's no way I can do it with my family. And you know what? There is no way you can do it with your family because that's what you told yourself. It's a reality for you. There is no way. If you keep saying it, that's what you bring into your reality. So then, we'll pray for you during the wealth transfer. And at least you'll still be able to access your trust. But you still have to have a good heart as we move forward into the golden era, because everything we do is being recorded, family. Everything we do, you have to be a good steward of the wealth. You have to have a certain heart, a certain mindset. And that's why we're being monitored. But if you come from a good place and you're only creating wealth to take care of your family and to make sure that you have humanitarian projects to help people, then as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if they watch what I do. I honestly don't. Because I'm a benevolent person and I judge myself. My mother-in-law used to tell us, God rest her soul, if you judge yourself, nobody else has to judge you. See, I'm not against judgment. I desire to be judged. I have mentors that judge me. Dr. Sandra Singleton, if you're watching, she judges me all the time, and I'm grateful. She sees that I'm saying things that she think I could say better or differently. She will call me on the phone and say, that was a nice podcast you did. You need to do this differently, or you need to watch the way you speak. You want to make sure you're positive and loving and kind, or make sure you only use words that are high vibrational. And I'm grateful for that. I believe in judgment. People will say, the Bible says, judge not that you not don't be judged. They don't tell you the latter part of that says, for with the same measure you deal out judgment, that's how you're going to be judged. So in other words, judge not that you be not judged, because with the same power and strength that you judge other people, they're going to judge you. Or with the same measure, the same standard by which you judge people is going to be used to judge you. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, I welcome judgment. My mom judges me, that's her job. People, the soul tribe judges me, that's your job. When I was married, my husband was alive, he would judge me, that's his job. I don't understand people that don't want to be judged. It hurts, especially when you're in the wrong. When you have a religious leader, their job is to judge you and tell you what to do to correct yourself. How else are you going to correct yourself? The issue with us is that we've gotten so used to and conditioned to do whatever we will do as thy wilt, that we don't want to be shamed for anything. We want to have the liberty and freedom to do whatever we desire, even if it encroaches upon the freedom of somebody else. That's when it's not a good idea to do certain things. That's why I welcome judgment. If my words hurt somebody's heart, I know when if the Most High calls my number and I go to that other place, people that had near-death experiences say they saw a screen of their life pass before them. I had a near-death experience when I was a child. I drowned in water. I literally saw my whole life go in front of me. I saw myself as a baby all the way up, and I saw certain things that happened. I even saw my name printed in a newspaper as a child that had died, drowned in the water in a YMCA. So I know what that looks like. Your life goes before you. You see a screen when you have near-death experience, and or when you do cross over, you see how you behave and how you made people feel. That's why I say, judge me while I'm on this side so I can be a better person. I desire to make people feel good. The only time I want people to feel so-called bad is when they're being corrected. I do that very well. I correct very well. So what did Ariel, my favorite tweeter, says on Twitter, also known as X? He said, this is the golden age. Did you know Iraq just fully exited post-conflict status? What does that mean? Post-conflict status means now you're peaceful. Now you're open for business. Now your economy is stable. Now you have policies in place to stabilize your country. And I've been reporting on this in my private group for a while, but now it's official. He also asked, did you know the Islamic Republic, they've lost control of every major city in Iran? Pay attention to the countries that we're mentioning. Did you know that Rafidian Bank announced a live broadcast of the distribution of retiree salary for the month of January? How are they going to pay out people's salaries in January 2026 on a devalued currency that's worthless? They probably won't pay them with devalued salaries. Remember, al-Sudaini, the prime minister of Iraq, stated that he desired to revalue the Iraqi dinar by January the 1st, 2026. Majid, my second favorite, my second favorite tweeter, those two are my favorites, and there's some other ones too. But he asked, did you know, he lives in Saudi Arabia, did you know January 1st is a symbolic and practical date for major currency reform and financial reset? He says January the 1st, I think this came out of an article. January the 1st has long been a symbolic and practical date for major currency reforms, redenominations, and financial resets. Governments often choose this date of January the 1st to ensure clean accounting transactions, signify a break from crises, and align with new fiscal calendars. Economists note that its timing with new budgets, accounting years, and tax cycles helps reduce operational disruptions and facilitate smoother implementation of economic challenges. You can read more here. Follow Majid on Twitter and Ariel. Interesting, huh? Okay. Thank you for the Cash App blessing for the donation. Thank you so much. Tony Withers, I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, I think that's it. So somebody comment, I know the significance to a degree on the first 2 points that you made. The significance of the third escapes me, and people are commenting on that. All right. January for retirees and December preparation for the Kurdistan entitlements. This is major. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2026. You always have somebody negative say, oh, oh, okay. No, this is positive. Somebody says, oh, SH, you know what? They're excited. Generational wealth is being released. Woo! This is a good sign, Downtown Carol Photo says. They've never paid the salaries on time. What a time to be alive. Riches are coming. New Year is happening. Ooh-wee. All right. And other people are responding. I just wanted to show you that Happy New Year, family. It's getting hot. Somebody said, it's getting hot in her. Hey. So that is the recap for 2025. We're now at the final countdown to 2026. What are you guys talking about? How do you think about all this news that I reported on, all the things that happened in 2025? Let's go. It's hard to love people that you know are jealous of you. Woo-wee. I hear you, Sister Janine. So, family, let us know what you desire to see in 2026. I desire peace, global peace, and prosperity for the whole world, for every last one of us. It is, in fact, go time. Let's go. Happy 2026, family. I don't know if you all plan to go out and celebrate, but we can celebrate right in our houses. Divine Water says, I am excited, and the upcoming year, 2026, is going to be the best year ever. Absolutely. What are some of your resolutions for 2026? I know I want to lose these last 20 pounds I've been struggling to lose. I haven't been working hard enough, though. I really haven't. That's one of my resolutions. I'm getting rid of, and I'm going to tone up these. You know, when you get a little older, you start losing muscle mass. I'm gonna get more aggressive in the gym. What are some of your resolutions, family? Let us know in the comment section. I want to play a little bit of this song, and I got to make sure I don't play a lot of it because I do not want to get flagged. For some of you that are in church or you have been in church, you know Donald Lawrence, right? We're just going to show just a little bit. Y'all know what song that is? Y'all know what song it is? Let's see if we can fast forward to the good part. Family, you ain't, remember that? Seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing. You going to keep saying, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come, family. 2026 is going to be amazing. You're going to lose that weight you want to lose. You're going to gain that weight you desire to gain. You're going to strengthen your muscle mass. You're going to get married or enter into covenant relationship. Or if you're in something that you need to get out of, you're going to get out of it. You're going to build up strong families. You're going to accumulate wealth. You're going to have good health. You're going to have those med beds released. We see already that countries are redenominating their currencies. We are going to be in the wealth management centers formerly known as banks exchanging our currencies, and we're going to be extremely wealthy, family. Extremely wealthy. You're going to make those investments. You're going to get a great return on your investments. You're going to see all the things about which we have been speaking come into your reality. It is happening. It is manifesting. I keep telling you that scripture, no man come unto me except the Father attracts him or draws him. The metaphysical way of seeing that scripture is no manifestation cometh unto me except the Father draws him. No manifestation, no manifestation can come unto me except my highest thoughts. Who is the Father? I and the Father are one, is what the scripture says. So I and the Father are one. No man can come unto me except the Father draws him. No manifestation comes unto me unless my higher thoughts, my highest consciousness, my highest self, which is my Father, I and my Father are one, attracts it. I attract manifestations onto me because my thoughts are high, because my vibration is high, because my frequency has been raised, because I expect goodness to happen, because I look for it when I wake up. I see the abundance in things. I see the goodness in people. I see the revaluation of currencies. I saw the signs of countries redenominating their currencies when they lopped off the zeros and unveiled their newest currency. Who was the newest nation, the last nation to do that? Syria. They just unveiled their new currency yesterday and said it will be released January the 1st. I expect joy. I expect prosperity. I look forward to it. And I live from that place. So it is happening, family. I hear a lot of people say, I believe it when I see it. Well, I see it when I believe it. And I don't even have to believe it. I know it. That's why I stand so confidently in the things I've been reporting since I went to Africa in 2014. I said in 2014, something's happening with gold. I see all these Europeans and Chinese here mining gold in Ghana, and Ghana's called the Gold Coast. I stumbled upon a book that had just been published called Africa is China's Newest Continent. I said, hey, everybody, something's happening to gold. We need to think about a way to invest in gold. I saw it. And I saw President Trump winning the elections. He won. I saw President Trump coming back. You saw it. You knew it. Believing is seeing, knowing is seeing. When you operate from a spiritual realm and metaphysically, you can see things people don't see. One of the ways you can start seeing things in the spiritual realm is through fasting. Research fasting, because fasting should be coupled with prayer. Prayer is good, or manifesting or speaking affirmations, but fasting in alignment with prayer, in alignment with speaking affirmations, help things come into your reality quicker. Because if you're not inundated with a lot of food and a lot of poison, a lot of television and a lot of sex that's not attached to love or meaningful relationship, if you're just putting a lot of junk in your body and you're so busy you don't focus, then it's hard to manifest. But when you fast, when you eliminate food for a certain period of time and you focus, your vibration raises. Not only are you raising your vibrations when you fast, but you're repairing your cells. You're decreasing your carnality and increasing your spiritual, metaphysical, and your highest self when you fast from food, okay? Fasting and prayer. The scripture says some things only happen through fasting and prayer. You can fast from work, you can fast from play, you can fast from television, you can fast from social media, which is decreasing your time doing that. You can fast from food. I'm an avid faster. My mother taught me the importance of fasting when I was a baby, because she was in the nation and she raised us some of our lives in the Nation of Islam, and then in Hebrew, and then in the Hebrew Pentecostal church, and we were Messianic Jews. She taught us about Judaism. We at one point we even was dancing around with the Hare Krishnas, singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm saying that that was my life experience. Please don't come for me and say that I'm a bad person. Listen, my mother trained me to look at all different types of religion and glean from those religions, those different values that could help me. But fasting is a principle of many, many dynasties, many, many ways of life. When you fast and you take away, you go through periods of not eating, you reset your body, you repair your system. You can even get rid of certain diseases. You can even regulate your sugar. You can even change how your diabetic makeup, what they call diabetes. I've seen it through fasting. Now, only you and the Most High, and maybe some of your medical practitioners or medical people in your life can tell you how much you should fast, or your highest self. But I was raised on fasting as a child, so it's a part of my lifestyle. My whole family, my children, we fast all the time, several times a month, many times a day throughout the week, several days. I went through a 14-day fast once, and on the 13th day, the Spirit just started showing me a lot of things. I've even seen into different realms through fasting. What's my point? My point is, if you're trying to look for a way to raise your vibrational frequencies, you can take walks in the park, you can hug a tree, you can walk on the grass on your bare feet and feel the earth under your grass, under your feet. You can speak to the Most High, you can do affirmations, you can take monoatomic gold, colloidal silver, all those different things. If you desire, you can go out in the sun and sun gaze. All these things open up your first eye chakra. But fasting will catapult you to a whole nother level. That will raise your vibrations for real. And you'll be able to see into different realms once you condition your body for fasting and make that a lifestyle. So family, I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast. There's a lot that we saw happen in 2025. If you're just now coming on, I see 552 people in the chat. We discussed all the things that happened in 2025. We first started off talking about what happened in 2024 with Pope Francis opened the portals, or the jubilee portals of 2025, and how in 2024, Zero Hedge, I also came out with an article that said we're about to experience a debt jubilee, which means that whenever societies went through a lot of people being in debt, or the governments being in debt, the way they would mitigate that is by just alleviating the debt, freeing the slaves and letting everybody go free and say, we're paying off the debt for you. So we already know that gold has been put forward to pay off the debt. So when Zero Hedge came out with that article the same day, December 24, 2024, saying we're going to experience a debt jubilee in biblical proportions. Are you ready? We knew that it was about to happen. Getting rid of debt is a part of Nasara Dasara, wiping out all credit card debt, mortgages, all bank loans, all that's a part of Nasara and Dasara. And where did Pope Francis open up the first portal or jubilee door? It was at a prison. It was at a prison, letting us know it was a symbolic ritual to let the slaves go free. Also called citizens. We're not citizens, we're sovereign men and women. So a lot came on in 2024, leading into 2025. We saw also the Supreme Court of the United States overturn the Chevron doctrine. We saw the Supreme Court of the United States say that state-sponsored banks can now operate independently from the Federal Reserve central banking system and issue out their own gold-backed currency. We saw President Trump come back at the end of 2024, and then he came in 2025 issuing out executive orders. As of December 2025, President Trump has signed 225 executive orders, 56 memoranda, and 114 proclamations during this so-called second term, which we know is really his third term. And that term began January 20th, 2025. He came in signing executive orders. He also created the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which is comprised of stocks, bonds, real estate, land, precious metals, rare earth minerals, taxes, and money from the tariffs put into a trust for three purposes, at least three purposes: to invest in the American people, to invest in other countries and other assets, and to create humanitarian efforts, as well as build up the infrastructure. Also, we saw DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, being created, where they downsized the government. They also researched and looked at United States aid and discovered that only 1% of the money that was earmarked for other countries was used. The other 99% was actually used to line the pockets of politicians. So they froze those assets. That goes along with Executive Order 138/18 that President Trump signed into law, or signed under his first administration. Also, the Supreme Court made a lot of decisions that would lead us into 2025. We also saw that the Sound Money Defense League finally wrote an article based on stuff we've been saying for the longest, that states are repealing sales taxes from the sales of precious metals, leading to King's World publishing an article that says the world is hurtling back to silver and gold as money. We saw the BRICS bloc grow. We saw the Shanghai Cooperation Organization grow in 2025. We saw President Trump broker deals with China, the second largest economy in the world, in 2025. And that led to other nations wanting to play ball with America. And then that led to President Trump actually brokering deals with the Middle East. He brought in trillions from brokering those trade deals with the Middle East. Also, we saw silver and gold reach new all-time highs. We saw copper and silver being added to the United States critical minerals list. Silver and copper, pay attention. The United States government shut down in 2025 as well, which was a cover for mass arrests happening behind the scenes, and the elimination of some of these programs called entitlement benefits. Well, a lot of people are concerned about that, but please know you're going to be okay, because Nassar will release trillions of dollars into the global economy. It will wipe out debt, and it will make sure each person in America and all across the globe has tens of thousands of dollars every month in a non-interest bearing account. You're going to see that, okay? The farmers' claims will be paid first, and then the rest of the world. Also, what happened in 2025 is that Trump cracked down on immigration, migration, birthright citizenship, and naturalization. Thank you for the Cash App gift for the donation. What else happened? African nation broker deals between each other and with oil-rich nations such as Venezuela. Burkina Faso is very much noted for brokering a deal with Venezuela, saying, you got the oil, we got gold. You don't have to worry about anybody only going to Saudi Arabia. We know that what made the United States incorporated the world power, have autonomy, and do it whatever they want to do it. And what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was their agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi princes and the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil. And they were going to force all nations to get oil from Saudi Arabia. But what most people don't know is that ended in 2022 when Saudi Arabia joined the BRICS Union: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and they became known as SAL-BRICS. And then other nations joined, such that by the end of 2022, 85% of the global population had joined BRICS. And then you had nations join the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And now here we are in 2025, where America is on record as stating that they were also joining the BRICS bloc. Okay, what else happened in 2025? Trump met with the National Guard publicly and told them to go into major cities and that they would deal with threats, foreign and domestic. Also, you saw Trump, speaking of foreign and domestic, we saw him getting rid of the deep state in all these cities, cleaning out military bases, and getting rid of foreign and domestic, meaning people right on the land, getting rid of the gangs, getting rid of the drugs, all that in 2025. He also had some issues with Venezuela. He's dealing with Venezuela, Nigeria, some of these other governments, because he's getting rid of the deep state there. Also, what happened in 2025, we see a lot of illusions falling apart. We saw Hollywood illusion falling apart. We see a lot of Hollywood stars and people, entertainers, being unalived, passing away. Because what's really happening is the ones that are, some of them are being judged and some of them, their characters are dying. But Hollywood is over. There's no more making movies. Okay. A lot of entertainers are going away. Also, we became aware of many things like billionaires stating that they're dropping the United States dollar. Money was cut off to billionaires. President Trump cut off money to Venezuela, Nigeria, and Arab nations who are all part of global trafficking. We became aware of that in 2025. Although we see Israel leaders kissing up to President Trump, we know President Trump often brings people close to him so that he can see exactly what they're doing and confuse them. He know that they're the Judases. Didn't Jesus experience that with Judas kissing him on the cheek? But he has something for Judas. And that's what's happening right here. Also, what happened is Iraq created a hub connecting their nation to more than 66 nations, what makes Iraq now the global hub of the Middle East, the transportation hub, the greatest transportation hub of the Middle East and of the world. We saw many investors now being attracted and recruited to come to Iraq as well as Vietnam. In 2025, we also saw President Trump fire a bunch of IRS agents and close a bunch of IRS offices. Also in 2025, the Federal Register listed 444 government agencies, many of which have to be dismantled now that the Supreme Court of the United States have overturned the Chevron doctrine, which had given the fake government called the United States Incorporated unlimited powers. Also, we saw that there were two major bank failures in 2025, according to the FDIC. One was in January. That was the Pulaski Savings Bank in Chicago, Illinois, with $49.5 million in assets, and another bank failure in June, which was the Santa Ana National Bank in Santa Ana, Texas, with $63.8 million in assets. Another thing we saw in 2025 was countries' currencies lopping off zeros and unveiling their new currencies. The latest country we saw do that was Syria. Another thing that happened is that a billionaire said that the dollar is going to hell. Stop investing in the US dollar. He told regular investors and everyday people stop investing in the US dollar and start looking at foreign currencies. Another thing that happened is that banks are now ready. They said in 2024 they have met globally to ensure they were ready for currency exchanges. Now, many people have come forward in 2025, said they met with wealth management leaders and wealth managers in the banks, and they are now acknowledging a foreign currency exchange. That came out in 2025. Chief Mack on his channel actually released a video where a woman actually gave her banking story about how they acknowledged that the global currency reset is real, the revaluation is real, and how they're prepared for revaluation currencies. They allow her to fund her trust, set up her trust, and told her about the currencies that are going to be revalued. Then they asked for Chief Mack's number and said, "Who's this man that told you about this trust, this 503C1A trust that allows you to operate in private?" And they say, "Give him my number." If you want to contact Chief Mack, email him at unityinmotion45@yahoo.com. What else happened? Billionaires have stated which currencies to get into. You'll have to do your research for that or join my private group. Also, Chief Pontiac Hayes alerted us here in 2025 that 72 secret treaties are listed on record that we know nothing about, and we need to investigate those. Also, Jim Rickards, who is an economist and a billionaire, alerted us that there is a secret trust worth trillions of dollars that will be released under the Trump administration. Also, sources that I have disclosed that President Trump is building a golf course in Iraq. We also know something I forgot to tell you is that JP Morgan Chase won a bid to put their bank in Iraq. Interesting, because JP Morgan Chase has been one of the banks that said, "Oh, no, we don't believe in a foreign currency exchange. We're not doing a foreign currency exchange. There's no revaluation of currencies." And yet they placed a bid and won it to put their bank in Iraq. Interesting, right? What else had happened in 2025? Sources disclose that President Trump is also investing in some of these other nations. Additionally, Iraq and Vietnam announced their stability and economic reforms that have been in place in their countries. Also, the demand for the Iraqi dinar soared as Iraq became more stable and built their TIR transportation system, connecting their system to more than 66 countries in the world. Also, African nations such as Burkina Faso, Chad, Niger, Mali, and Senegal kicked out the French colonists, which is huge because that meant that now France's economy was in trouble, and they actually collapsed and got rid of many of their people that worked in the Treasury Department in France. This is happening all over the world, family. And another thing, when Pope Francis opened up 5 doors or portals, my son, who's an economist, said there were 5 major nations that were running things in the world. And I forgot those 5 major nations, but he told me, well, I think it was Europe, Italy, France, and there were 2 others. So he said that could be why there were 5 portals. Also, African nations unveiled PAPS, the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, which is deemed as revolutionary. And this is cross-border payments in Africa. They're now trading with each other. They're doing cross-border payments. They're protecting each other. They're standing as one union there in Africa as they're all expelling the colonists that were controlling them and controlling their minds. Another thing that we talked about, I'm almost finished here, family. I just wanted to do a recap. The adoption of AI is happening rapidly all over the world. Also, you all know that Charlie Kirk, the controversial conservative activist figure, was unalived. Whether that was real or staged, I'll leave that up to you. And what that symbolizes, I'll also leave that up to you. In October, a ceasefire was brokered between Hamas and Israel. Also in 2025, the Jeffrey Epstein saga continued to make headlines as new documents have circulated, affirming that a lot of nefarious activities were going on with the Epstein whole estate, and it lists the people that were involved there. Kendrick Lamar, if you're into music, was one of the most talked about artists in music, and it was driven by his ongoing effect of his song, They're Not Like Us, They're Not Like Us, They're Not Like Us. It became his longest chart rap song ever, spending more than 50 weeks on a Billboard Hot 100. And Xi Jinping of China pushed for strategic and economic regional dominance in 2025. So these are all the things that we know of that has happened in Iraq. And then I summed it up and finished it up with showing you what Majid stated on his post, because he's from Saudi Arabia. He is on Twitter. He often posts about things that are going on in the Middle East. We talked to you about what he said. We showed you that Ariel stated that the golden age is upon us. He asked us, did you know Iraq just fully exited post-conflict status? He asked us, did you know that the Islamic Republic has lost control of every major city in Iran? Speaking of losing control of every major city, we know President Trump is getting rid of the deep state in every major city as well. He also asked Ariel, or Prolotario1 on Twitter, asked, did you know that Rafidian Bank announced a live broadcast of the distribution of retirees' salary? And then we read that Majid from Saudi Arabia says that January 1st is symbolic and a practical date for major currency reform and financial reset. So that is my recap of 2025. I just wanted to go over it again for those people that are just now entering the room. And having said that, we have 11 minutes before the new year comes in. Melissa says, all churches are closing. Sister Janine said, also, there were major arrests that were going on in 2020 and 2021. We got 555 people in the chat. Hit the like button, family. Subscribe to the channel. You're welcome. Kim says, thank you, Dr. Pruitt. It's always my great pleasure, always, family, to bring the news. Kathleen said, dreamt of owning a 1920 Craftsman cottage and renovating it, keeping it original. After that, moving my 98-year-old father in with me. He's in a rest home now. Maybe I won't have to renovate. Oh my gosh. I look forward to you bringing them home. I know a lot of us have had to do things like that because many of us were just like busy working, and taking care of sick loved ones takes a lot of energy. And sometimes there are things we're not able to do, like lift them, clean them, make sure they have their medicine on time, all that. Chief Mac, how long is the line? Are you here, Chief Mac? Chief Mac, you want to bring us in the new year? Bring the new year in? Give us some final words? Chief Mac is of the Soul Tribe. Hey, Chief Mac, if you want to come in, just let me know. I see y'all talking to Chief Mac. I didn't know he was here. I tried to call you, Chief, but I figured you were busy. So Chief Mac, I am sending you a link right now, and I hope you come in so I can take a break and drink some water. 10 more minutes before 2026 is officially here. 2026 of the Gregorian calendar. And why I'm having a hard time sending you this link, I don't know. It's like my computer is being slow. I hope you all can still see me. So what I'll do, Chief, is I'm going to put the link in the chat for you since I'm having a difficult time or challenging time emailing it to you. Come on in the room, Chief. Give us some final words of encouragement. Yeah, that was a great recap. So many wonderful things happened. In 2025, I was able to get, make sure all my family was, most of my family was in one place. In 2025, I did a lot of things. A lot of you in 2025 were able to stack more silver, gold, or copper, or maybe you just came into the knowledge of precious metals. A lot of you got some foreign currencies. And I know that some of you also met Chief Mac and you got you a trust, a private trust, also known as the Rockefeller Trust. Some of you who created a trust or got a trust with Chief Mac didn't even know about foreign currency. So he encouraged you to get them. And some of you, he even helped get trust. It's been a great year, even with some of the things that we went through. When you agree, a lot of things are happening worldwide to let us know that Nasara Dasara are real. A lot of things that I listed shows that our republic is being restored. I sent you a link, Chief Mac. Come on in the room. You're welcome. You're welcome. And while I wait for Chief Mac, I just want to tell you all that sent me a Cash App. Thank you so much. Sister Sheila just sent me something. Thank you so much. God bless you, Sister Sheila. Nia sent something as well. Thank you. Tony did. Thank you. And again, I want to thank Leonard Lassiter Bay for sending something. All of you that blesses me by sending me something to my Cash App. And it's right there, $ Mama Kia 13, MAMAKIA 13. Thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you, Chief Mac, for blessing the Soul Tribe. Many people who didn't have money or food, Chief Mac gave them money and food. He has blessed people with currencies. He's helped people with some of their medical bills. He has prayed for people and listened to their concerns and consulted and counseled with people. So, being a spiritual leader is beautiful, but it's more than just praying for people, because if I'm hungry, your prayers are not going to feed me. I need food. And the Bible even talks about that, right? So a lot of you have done the same work. Chief Mac, I sent you an email with the link so you can come in and bring us in. We got 6 more minutes before 2026 come in. When it does, we're going to say Happy New Year. Yes, Chief Mac is amazing. I don't see y'all on Facebook. Somebody says you don't see us on Facebook. We are not worthy. If you're here, if you're commenting from Facebook, it should come in on my StreamYard. I just saw that one. Let me see what else. Maybe you all are saying things on Facebook and it's not coming up on my StreamYard. I apologize. Yes, you are worthy. Of course you are. You're part of the Soul Tribe. You are a child, a man or woman of the Most High, of the Creator. Yes, you're worthy. Sherman says, Big O, Nebraska in the house. I didn't see these. Anthony Cole says, I'm from Virginia. Jeanette says, thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Allie says, Happy New Year from New Zealand. Thank you. I apologize. I didn't see these comments, family. Anybody else? They're only showing 4 of those comments. I'm trying to go to the other ones, and I don't see any more comments. I see that there are 12, but they're not popping up. Am Thrill Time says, I need food. Chief Mac, I sent you the Happy New Year. I sent you the link. Can you come in? We only got 5 more minutes before the new year is here. I'm so excited. Y'all can see I decided not to go out, right? I'm here with the Soul Tribe. What else could be better? I'm celebrating with our tribe, with our family. Okay, Chief might not come in to this evening. Sister Janine says, hey, Chief, Happy New Year. Happy 2026 to you too, Sister Crystal. 4 more minutes. We're counting down. Thank you, Sister Janine, for being here as our moderator, making sure everything runs smoothly. Veronica asked Dr. Pruitt, what is a reputable place to buy gold-backed dollars? Thank you in advance. You can go to your local coin dealer. They should have gold backs. You can go to goldback.com, sdbullion.com, jmbullion.com, moneymetals.com, Great American Coin Company. eBay may have some, as well as Amazon and Etsy. That was a great question. 4 more minutes, family. Yes, he sent me blessings. That's why I got groceries. Thanks, Chief Mac. Oh, Melissa, I'm so happy to hear that. Wow. We're so grateful for the Chief of the Soul Tribe. Y'all like his song that he has? His theme song? Any more questions you have? 3 more minutes. Sister Janine says, you are so welcome. It's always my pleasure, Jack. Blessings to you too, Crystal. Chief's not answering the phone, so maybe he's listening. Maybe he's going to come on. I don't know.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
How many minutes now? 3 more minutes for 2026. Oh my gosh. 3 more minutes, family. This is going to be my theme song right here.
Come on, y'all. Make some noise out there. Let me see y'all move. Come on, y'all.
Y'all know I have to be careful when I play any music. I can get copyright strikes. You ain't seen nothing yet, family. 2026 is coming in hot. Coming in strong. Happy New Year. I love you all. I'm so grateful for you all here. Happy New Year. Yes, happy 2026. Happy prosperous 2026. I'm so excited. Let me see if I can see any more comments from Facebook. They're only showing 4, but it says I have 12 here. I apologize that I don't see you all. It says only 2 people now are watching. People probably about to go get their party on, go get something to drink. Y'all ready to celebrate. I love you all so much. Happy New Year. 1 more minute. Soul Tribe. Let's do this in 2026. I love you more. Oh my God. All right. Come on. Come on in 2026. Come in hot. Come on in 2026. Ain't nothing yet, family. All right. Just a few more seconds. We're counting down. Somebody says Happy Nasara New Year. Oh, I'm getting chills. That got me excited. Yes. Yes. Are we there yet? Y'all, come on. That 1 second, that 1 minute. Yay! It's 12 a.m. Happy New Year. Woo! I had to blow. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, family. We made it. We made it. Oh my gosh. This is exciting. Happy New Year, Sister Kimberly. Happy New Year, Sister Linda. Happy New Year, Dewey. They go. I hear the fireworks. Happy New Year, family. Thank you for bringing it in with me in the Soul Tribe. Happy New Year. This is wonderful. Yes. Yes. This is exciting, family. Come on in. Happy New Year. I see all the Happy New Years. Yes. Happy New Year, Jerome. Happy New Year, Crystal. Happy New Year, the Hun. Happy New Year, loving light. Oh, this is a wonderful time to be alive, as Chief Mack would say, right? I can hear all the firecrackers, family. Yes. Come on in. Happy New Year. I hear you, family. Come on in. Happy New Year. Come on in the room, family. We'll show y'all something. Can y'all hear it? Let's bring this in. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I see you all. Happy 2026 Nasara New Year. Happy prosperous New Year, family. It's going to be a great time. Listen to it. Celebration. I got to be careful. I don't want to get any copyright strikes. Y'all know the song, but I'm not going to play it. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I love you all, family. I appreciate you all so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate all the good vibrations, the high vibrations. I love you all. This has been a wonderful 2025. Yes. Jerome said, you heard me call your name. You just picked up your phone and you were watching me from the TV and you heard me call your name. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Akia. Happy New Year, Positive Queen. Happy New Year, Sister Crystal. Very exciting. Divine Waters. Happy New Year. Awesome. The Hun. Happy New Year. Yay. The Avery. Yes, cheers to you all. Happy New Year, Tony. It's always good to see you. Happy, joyous, prosperous, healthy, wealthy New Year, family. Sister Janine, Happy New Year. Prudence, Happy New Year. Green Eyes, Happy New Year. Akia, Happy New Year. Yes. Yeah, some of those aren't firecrackers. Some of those are gunshots. Woo-hoo. Eduardo, Happy New Year. I hope you're enjoying your New Year in San Antonio. Hi, Positive Queen. Happy New Year. My girls, good to see you. Happy New Year. Akim, Happy New Year. Kimberly, let's celebrate good times. That's right, Sister Janine. All right. This is a great time to be alive, family. It is now 2026. Expect prosperity. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Sheila. Thank you, Sleepy Clock. Thank you, Karima. You have your foreign currencies. Good. We're going to go to the bank. We're going to declare it and command it to be so, right? Just a few more minutes. We're going to check out of here, family. We've been on for, 2 hours and 29 minutes? I thank y'all for your time. Come on. Do. Come on. Yes, our health is our wealth. I'm looking forward to going to the bank too, Sister Janine. I'm so excited. I love you all so much. I was hoping Chief was still in the house, but he might be celebrating. Who knows? Who knows? He might be busy. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Well, it's 2026. The time is 12:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking forward to a very joyous new year. I love Ariel too on Twitter. He provides wonderful perspectives on what's going on. He has great tweets. Man, I hear those fireworks going berserk. If you want to follow Ariel here, he is on Twitter. I'll make sure I'll put his information in the chat for you. So Majid is somebody that we follow on Twitter as well. I'll put that in the chat. Majid's Twitter handle is right here. And let me find Ariel's. Let me get out of here and go to Ariel's main page. Let's see where his main page is. Ariel gives good information on what's going on behind the scenes geopolitically and what's going on mainly in Iraq as it relates to foreign currencies. He talks about the currency exchange. So I put his information in the chat. We decree, demand, and declare a prosperous new year for all. Divine Waters of Truth says, thank you, Divine Waters. I love you. And also thank you for being one of our moderators along with Sister Janine. I appreciate you. As Sister Melissa said, we made it. We made it. We survived. Y'all know that song? We made it, family. They going in. I hear the firecrackers. Wow. They're going in, family. And the gunshots. You had an RV resort, and it's so quiet there, Sister Janine said. Wow. Much love and blessings to you all, family. We made it. Happy New Year. I'm about to get off. We've been on for 2 hours and 32 minutes and 21 seconds. Amen and amen. I am just thrilled that we made it. Lord have mercy. Peace and blessings to everyone. Hi, Sister. Who's that? Sister Taka. It's good to see you. Byron is in the house as well. Oh my God, we made it. Peace and blessings to everybody. Peace and blessings to you in Hawaii. As soon as we leave. You coming to Florida? All right, Sister Melissa, come on. So family, I could go on and on, but much love and blessings to you all. I'm so happy. I'm just so happy. Now I guess I'm just going to find a way to celebrate in peace. I don't like being outside with all those fireworks and gunshots. So I typically stay in. But I thank you all for being here with me, bringing in the new year. It's been a wonderful time. You're welcome. TZZ says, thank you so much for your commitment and dedication to your channel and subscribers. Peace and abundance. Thank you. You're more than welcome. Sister Divine says, you're welcome, Doc. It's always my pleasure to be with you and the family. Okay, Melissa says she's going to sleep. That's what I need to do. I'll get some rest. Thank you, Sister Crystal. She said, get rest, beautiful. Happy rising, Sister Shelley, and to the Soul family. Turn up in the house. I'll do that, Kim. Oh my God. Sleep is good. That's a way to bring in the new year. Resting. Blessings to everyone. Oh my God, it's going to get good. I look forward to turning on the news. Listen, family, silver and gold did take a slight dip. But remember the other day, within one day, it went from $75 to $80, and then it went up to $81.59. So keep your eyes on silver and gold. Copper is going to be next. If silver and gold are not in your budget, get some copper. I'm thankful. Sister Sunshine said, I'm so thankful for you. Oh, thank you, Sister Sunshine Gold. I'm grateful for you as well. And it's my pleasure being here to serve. So let's see what the prices look like on silver and gold. You know, they can go up in the middle of the night. On Saturday, silver went up in value, and they usually, APMEX doesn't report a change on Saturdays. APMEX is a precious metals company. You can go to silverprice.org or goldprice.org, and you can see the prices. Silver right now, $71.47. Gold is $4,324.44. But it's not over. It's not over until it's over. So get you some precious metals while you can. Go to your local coin dealer, or you can use our affiliate at Miles Franklin. We'll put that on the screen for you. Get you some foreign currencies if you can, or if you're interested in doing that. You're welcome. Sister Janine says, Doc, thank you for making a difference in so many people's lives. You are amazing. Thank you, Sister Janine. It's my pleasure. As I always say, I am merely a reflection of you all. When you look in my eyes, you see yourself. When I look at you, I see myself. It's go time, baby, Crystal says. Okay, I got to stop yelling so much. I got people asleep in the house. I'm so grateful for you all. You all make me relevant. Without you, I wouldn't be relevant. I wouldn't matter in this space. You reaffirm my mission to raise the vibrations of the planet. You would reaffirm my purpose in life, and I'm so excited about that. It is go time. You are wealthy, healthy, and wise. You is good, you is kind, and you is important. So write down what you declare for 2026. Write it down in as many details as possible. Write down what you're going to do with your money. Write down and go over your humanitarian projects and just get ready. Get all your documents in place. Get your proof of residency in place. Get your ID in place and all these other things that you need. In our private group, we did actually read a list of the protocol for banking exchange. For foreign currency exchange. And this protocol is something that one of our Soul Tribe members actually discovered and shared with us. If you're interested in sharing, join a private group, because we also talk about other investment opportunities that we don't discuss on the main channel. Melissa said, yes, I'm well. Please feel free to join our private group right here. Where is it? Happy and blessed New Year to you all. I can't wait to text some of my family and friends members to say Happy New Year. All right, family. 530 people that are in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel. Make sure you also subscribe to Chief Mac's channel. Subscribe to Orisha Stone. I did a podcast with him and Chief Rod Hayes. Make sure you find Chief Rod Hayes on under Rod Hayes on Facebook. If you're interested in a private trust through Chief Mac, email him at unityinmotion45@yahoo.com. Maria Nicole is an Intel provider on YouTube. You can subscribe to her channel. Chief Mac's on there. Who else? Aseer, Aseer. Aseer, the Duke of Tears, somebody that I do podcasts with often. You subscribe to his channel. Who else are some of the people? Gold Star Mother Susan Price has a podcast. She used to do a podcast. Now she does her own radio show. I don't know what her radio show is. Let me see if I can find it. See, because she talks about certain things going on geopolitical as well. I'm going to have to find her podcast for you all to join and subscribe to. I don't see it in my email, but subscribe to all the people that keeps your vibrations high. Check out the Meta Center Chicago, because they have good supplements, heirloom seeds, bracelets like copper bracelets, different services to detect ailments in your body. They have colloidal and monoatomic gold, silver, and copper that you can take. Go to the Meta Center Chicago. Look them up on YouTube and on their website. And if you get any of their products, put in at the checkout counter, DRKIA 2024. That is my private code from 2024. You're welcome. You're welcome, family. It's my great pleasure. Cocoa Beach in the house. You're welcome. Anybody else you all should think about following? So many people that give good news. Please align yourself with positive people. Again, write down and go over your humanitarian projects. Join our private groups so you can see what the protocol is for the banking exchange. That came straight from one of the sources. Oh, who else? Sister Melissa said Frank 26 for all currencies from Treasury. So Frank 26 has a YouTube channel. Look for him. Subscribe to his channel. Who else? Anybody else we should look to? Oh, Mark Z. How can I forget Mark Z? Mark Z has been in the game for a long time. And when my channels would get taken down, he would call me from his cell phone, call me straight to my cell phone to ask me, how am I doing? What's going on with me? Not just him, not just Frank 26, but Mel Carmine will call me and check on me. I'm not Frank 26. Mark Z. I went to Puerto Rico. I was hoping I could catch up with Mark Z, but I wasn't able to. The Mel Carmine has a channel, QF, is it QFS? What is Mel Carmine's channel? It's been a while since we've been in contact with each other, but I've met him in person. He has a beautiful wife, a lovely union. Follow Mel Carmine's channel if you are into digital assets. Is it QF? What is this? Oh, XRPQFS. That's Mel Carmine on Twitter. Remember Ariel on Twitter. Who else? Happy New Year, Steve D. I see you. He said Happy New Year on Twitter. Majid. Let me see if some of my other Twitter folk that I follow that you can follow on Twitter for Intel. Although we won't need to look to other people too much longer because we're going to be at the banks. I did have a whole list of people that I follow, but I don't see their names right now. I'm getting tired. That's probably why. Oh, who to follow on Twitter? I follow Mike Christo 8. I'm going to pull it up for you. Don't forget about Empress Rare. Thank you, Empress Rarebird. She has a YouTube channel. I just talked to her like 2 or 3 days ago with Chief Rod Hayes. Yes, we have to remember Empress Rarebird. You're welcome. So thank you for all your time. The Asian Guy and John A.G. They're good people to follow. You can get copper bracelets from the Meta Center Chicago. Let me see. The Meta Center. Let me see if I can find their YouTubes. It's the metacenterchicago.com. Here you go. For your copper bracelets. There you go, right here. That's their website, and I'll put it in a chat for you. Copper bracelets, heirloom seeds, colloidal silver, monoatomic silver, monoatomic gold, colloidal copper. Those are things you can drink to prevent you from getting sick. Who else are some of the people you can follow? Here's a list of people I follow on Twitter. Let's see who to follow on Twitter. I sent myself an email. Mike Crystal 8. I follow on Twitter. Gold Telegraph to keep me abreast on what's going on with gold. Proletario, who is Ariel on Twitter. Brothers Technology. Smooth Ray, Smooth REY. Nate Carter on Twitter. Angel or Angel Hunter 1776 is the handle. Jack Straw. And there are others too, but those are the ones that I made note of that I need to follow. Stay abreast of the news. All right. I guess Chief Mac's not in the house anymore. Asian Ship talks about currency and crypto. I know Asian Guy talks about a lot of what's going on with the metals market. Empress Rarebird talks about taking down the deep state and reclaiming our lawful government as indigenous peoples. You're welcome. It's that Hall J says, thank you for all your time, research, and energy. 1776. All right, Tony Hood. Grand new month, family. Elder Mama Tanika says, January 1st, celebrate the New Year's at spring, mid-ending of March. Thank you. The India Rupiah is a good currency, Sister Melissa says, to look into. John Widener says, it's my birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy prosperous birthday. May it be healthy, wealthy, and abundant. The Medicine of Chicago is where you can get your heirloom seeds and some of your products. Tell Dr. Tony Vortex, if you talk to him, Dr. Kia Pruitt, say hello. Use my discount code DRKIA 2024 at checkout. Oh, you would love to see me and Princess Elizabeth again. Okay, Kim, I'll give her a call. I just talked to her last week. What court case would you like the number for? You might have to research it and look into it. Joan Wilder says, thank you. You're welcome. Michael Jacko. Oh, is that somebody on Twitter or social media? We got to look for him. Okay. YouTube. Oh, Crystal's birthday was December 28th. Happy New Year. Min Chow. Happy New Year, Michelle. Capricorn energy in the house. Happy birthday, ladies, Elder Mama says. You called me 3 times, Queen Tanya. That's awesome. I love it. Anu says, I love my key. You know, my husband used to call me Key, short for Kia. He called me Key. Happy New Year, Queen. Happy New Year, Tony. All right, family. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'm going to be in the back. I'll be here, but I'm just going to take my picture down and I'm going to play the outro, which is the theme song for the Soul Tribe. But I'm still here. Keep commenting and talking to each other. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this good news of all the things that happened in 2025, and let everybody know that countries have unveiled their new currencies. Many countries have announced that they've lopped off or taken off the zeros, which means that they are set for the currency revaluation. Thank you. Queen Tanya says, I look beautiful. Thank you so much. Let everybody know it's happening. It's happening, family. All right. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Denise says, I'm having a glass of mineral water with pineapple. It's so good. That sounds good. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Good night, family. I'm going to be in the back. Keep talking. If you ask a question that I need to address, I will come back. If Chief Matt comes in the house, I will come back. Gratitude to you all. Also, thank you for the cash apps that you sent me to $Mama Kia 13. Thank you for being here, sharing your energy, information, and intel. Sister Lori says you are the best. Happy solar return to all our birthday people. You're welcome, Sister Crystal. Yes, we're going to go out with a bang. So I'm still here. Let me go ahead and play this outro. If you have anything else to say, I'll come back up. Happy New Year, family. Happy 2026. Look for January 26th. That's when Pope Francis says he's going to close the portal, or the New Year portal means that everything is finished. It's all over. We might have an emergency broadcast system announcement. I don't know, but I do know something huge is going to happen this new year. Good night, family. I love you.
Shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth. for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
One more time.
Dr. Kia preached, shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way She's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
Thank you all so much for joining us, family. I appreciate everybody bringing in the new year with the Soul Tribe. I love you so much. Sister Myra says she purchased Iraqi dinar over 20 years ago. I finally invested in the Vietnamese dong, she says. Copper, coins, silver, gold-backed currencies, Venezuela currencies, and Zimbabwe bonds. You are ready, Sister Myra. I'm excited for you. All right, gratitude. Positive Queen says, I love you, Positive Queen. I love you all. Mr. 1X says, appreciate you, Mama Kia. I love you. Thank you so much, family. Elder Mama says, rest easy, everybody. And our moderator, Sister Janine, says, thank you, Doc. Glad we were here celebrating the new year with you. Happy 2024. Go to sleep, family. If you get a chance, when you wake up, write down all the things you expect to see happening, attach joyful emotions to it, and actually celebrate like it's happening. Live in that moment of being prosperous, healthy, wealthy, and abundant. We are entering, and we have entered, the new golden reality. Good night, family. I'm so glad to see you all here and glad to have spent this New Year celebration with you. Peace. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. We are the key. Absolutely.